Alrighty, this is the Weather and Water Cycle Lab. To start, we're gonna take 2 of our canning jars and we're gonna fill this one about a third to about halfway full with warm water. We're gonna take our blue food coloring and we're gonna put just 1 drop in the water. Just 1 little squeeze. Perfect. We're gonna set that to the side. I'm gonna switch this around a little bit. Make sure it's all mixed up. And then we're gonna take our piece of granite, and that's gonna represent land. We're gonna set it in there so that the top of it is still showing. You're gonna invert this one, set it on top. I'm using duct tape. And we're just going to tape this around, make sure no air can get through. Another little piece. Finish taping it and securing it. Just make sure that's all the way on, push it down if you need to. Set that aside. Next, we're gonna take a petri dish and we're gonna put in our ice cubes. Then we will set the petri dish with our ice cubes on top, just as so. And we'll take that to a windowsill and set it in a sunny position. And then we will be back to see how it has turned in, what it has turned into as representing the atmosphere. Okay, so after about 30 minutes, I noticed that the ice was completely melting. And I brought it back in here to be able to show y'all in better lighting. So, and I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's some condensation inside of this jar. So as we noticed that the atmosphere, as the sun was taking hold of the jars, we noticed that the condensation inside of the jars is increasing as evaporation. But with the ice on top, I've noticed that there was a lot less evaporation than I would have assumed, being that the sun was beating in through the window. My dog even tried to lick the water off the ice cube because he's ridiculously tall and he can reach on the top of our windowsill. The ice in this one is almost completely melted, which you can see where the water has completely filled this. And left with this little baby ice cube. Okay, so after about an hour after the initial start of the project, I have noticed that after my dog licked all the water out of the petri dish, quite literally, I mean, so it was melted after an hour. There is what I would say condensation. You can't really see it, but there is a significant amount of condensation. It started raining, so that kind of drew back some of the sunlight that I was using in the windowsill. After noticing the changes in the jars and how the experiment worked out, I would definitely say that if I had to change anything, it would be not to put it in a place that my dog can reach it. And maybe allowing it more time in the sun quality-wise, as you know, it was raining, picked a pretty bad day to put it in the sun. But overall, I would say the experiment did show me how evaporation, condensation, all of that works in our environment, as well as the rock being the land and the top half being atmosphere. I would definitely say that this experiment was conclusive, and that after an hour, it was melted. Condensation inside of the jars was absolutely significant compared to what it began as well as the evaporation. I noticed that as the ice was melting and temperatures were increasing instead of decreasing inside of the jar, that there was a significant amount of more condensation as well as melting in the ice.